Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of this design. It was done using Loren Sherman's fan-made script, which uses a combination of dots and lines on these 4 different stems to make our consonants and vowels, our smaller circles. And they're pretty tricky because they have different locations depending on what vowel they are and if they're enclosed on one of these 4 stems. So anyway, let's go ahead and hop to it. So this is actually the second design I've done of the same quote. This is actually the same exact thing as this. And if you're curious, you can kind of look through this design as well as I go through this and try to figure out how it does the same thing. Otherwise, I do have a separate explanation video of just this design. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop to this design. So you read bottom counterclockwise, which is why you start at the bottom of something set up like this, because if you're going to read bottom counterclockwise, and if you imagine this is a big circle, bottom counterclockwise would be, bottom up. So let's go ahead and look at this design. Here's our word circle with all these little chunks taken out of it. And if you look closely, this little thing, this little shallow divot, I'll call it because it's 50% or less completed, has 1 line ending on it, 2 lines ending on it, 3 lines ending on it. So that makes it an S. And again, these lines, they can be curved or bent to make like a hexagon or anything. As long as they end on it, they count. But the lines that pass through it, like this one here and these ones here, don't count, but 1, 2, 3 lines do end on it, so that is an S. And then we have this T, because it's a T stem or shallow divot with nothing ending on it, so that is just a T. And then we have an O, and even though it's on a line, it's on just a line. It's not on the word circle. So this is the word circle, and these vowels are all relative to the word circle. So this is an O, because it's still inside the word circle, which is that thin line. So that is an O. And this shallow divot has 3 dots closest to it. So that makes it an R. Then we read vowel after the consonant always if it's enclosed. So this vowel, this small circle here, has 1 line on it going towards the middle, so that is an I. So it's important that this line stops here, and this one starts here, so I. And then we have an E because it's actually on the line of the word circle instead of inside it like this O. And in my other style, I erased the lines inside the I and the E, but in this style, I kept the lines just because it makes it look a bit more, planetary, like they're on their orbits or something, I don't know, or geometric without the lines interrupted, and it makes this O more disguised as this E. Anyway, here's our last S because 1, 2, 3 lines on the shallow divot, just like this one. So stories is our first word. Here's our next word. It has a little circle towards the outside, and that's the bottommost letter, and we can tell it's part of this word, not this word, because it's actually touching this word circle. So here we have an A, and then we have a shallow divot with 1, 2, 3 dots closest to it. Even though these dots kind of go off on a little adventure, they have to go somewhere. So they go here because this is the closest stem. So that's an R because 1, 2, 3 dots on the R. And then we have that E, which is right in the central of, like the middle of that circle, is in the middle of where that word circle line, would be. So that is R-A-R-E. And then we have this word, bottom. Here's our first letter. It is a shallow divot, and yeah, there are dots, but these dots are all way closer to this stem than to this stem. So these dots go here, but this big dot does go here. So that is 1 dot, making it a WH. And then we have that E in it, and then we have that R because 3 dots on a shallow divot. And then we have an E. And this little thing around here is kind of just decoration. I usually don't do that, but this design felt like it needed something heavy around this middle-ish circle, just to help with the balance of it, especially for on a leg. So anyway, this is just a decoration circle that lines up with that R. So yeah, and it doesn't land on anything other than just lines, which makes it safe. If it were to connect up, like if you have decorations connecting up to consonant stems or even word circles, they're not safe, but I made sure this one was safe. So anyway, this is our actual word circle. Here's our first letter, 1, 2, 3 lines M, E on the line, 1, 2, 3 lines M, O on the word circle, 3 dots R, 1, 2, 3 dots R, I, line going towards the middle, E on the line of the word circle, then 1, 2, 3 lines on the S, so memories. Here's our next word, deep divot, 1 line G, and then we have an O on that G stem, and it's important that this line connects up again to the G, not the O. because yeah, so go, and then here we have shallow divot 2 lines, so W, and then we have an H because deep divot 1 2 lines, E, and then we have an N because this one passes through, but one line ends, so one line ends makes it an N, so N, so when, and then we have this word, bottom, here we have a TH, it's pretty darn big, so it's got to be a TH, and there's no dots closest to it, so this is just a TH. Then we have an E, and then we have this circle on the line of the word circle, so that's another TH stem, except it's got at least one dot, and the second dot is closer to it than anything else, so that's another dot there, so making it a Y, because 2 dots makes it a Y. And then we have that apostrophe, because it's 2 lines going from the word circle. It would go to a sentence circle, but there is no sentence circle in this design, so they just, kind of go away. So that is our apostrophe, and then we have this shallow divot in this row, and 1, 2, 3 dots are closest to that stem, and then that E, that thin circle, is that E, smaller circle, so there, like apostrophe RE. And then we have this last word here, we have that first stem, 1, 2, 3 lines. Again, it's important that this line ends here. Like, the things tattoo artists tend to mess up on are, like, ending lines in the wrong spots, because it's really, really hard to tell when you're tracing a thing that kind of rubs away where the lines end. But you gotta spell check this yourself, which is why I make these videos. But anyway, this line's gotta end on that F for it to translate right. 1, 2, 3 lines on that F, O. And like I said before when talking about this design, even if the vowel is to the left of the consonant, you always read consonant then vowel if the vowel's attached. So that is an F-O. And then we go to the R, 3 dots on the R. Then we have a G-O. And here we have something new. This is a double line. You see these 2 thin little lines here? So this double line means it's a double letter, and since the lines are the same thickness, it's the same letter twice. So this double letter is the same letter, and they're both T's because there are no lines or dots by them. And then we have that E inside the double T, and then we have that last little N here, just like this N, except it's got the line going this way because it doesn't matter for N's, so forgotten. I was thinking about maybe doing something with the N's here. I would be careful if you put circles on them, just because then they'd look like A's attached or I's attached. But if you do like a little arc, that would be fine, or like a triangle. I don't know. More like a curvy bit. But you can kind of play with how you want to end those lines if you want to do something like that. Or you can just have them like taper off, as long as they don't look like lines or dots attached to the stem or vowels. You're pretty safe to put like triangles are good, dashes are good, anything. So just not circles. So yeah, this design again says the exact same thing. You see, Forgotten. Woo. So yeah, you have a tough choice. They're both really cool looking designs. I'm interested to see which one you end up liking better and go with. So yeah, that's that. See ya.